All right, folks, we are back with another episode of Storyalises. Storyalises.
Yeah.
Storyalises.
Yeah.
Storyalises. Listen, all right, all right. I was like, listen, no, that's it. Stop here, stop. All right, I am Pierre,
And I am Chris.
and this is the last 6 episodes of season 1 of Vinland Saga. Vinland
We're at the
Saga.
final stretch. The
We're
final
literally
stretch,
at the
man.
final stretch.
And
Can't wait
then
for
on
season
to
2.
season 2.
Yeah. I
Man.
hear they signed for season 3. I don't know if that's well, not signed
Really?
for. This is going with the manga, I guess. Yeah, it's not a signed for kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know if it ends. Do you read the manga for this, Christian?
No, I do not. But
Hmm.
since the title of the last episode is End of the Prologue, I would hope that they're in this for the long run. you know,
Hmm.
because the manga, from what I understand, it's still going on, and it's been
Okay.
going on for. I'm pretty sure it started like before 2010,
Okay.
so it's been going on for quite a while. And it's called Vinland Saga. Saga is a very very
Hmm.
long story.
Hmm. Yeah, that is true. Like Twilight.
Is Twilight a long? I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I think we had 1, 2, 3, part 1, part 2. I don't know. I think I heard Breaking Dawn. I don't know. I think yeah. I think they call it the Twilight Saga. I think. Uh,
Twilight Saga. Huh.
I think that's what they call it. I don't know. And it did that shit rocked for a
Werewolves and
good decade.
vampires.
Yeah, crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. But anyway, dude, let's get into it. Let's get down
Yeah.
to it. All right, all
Yeah.
right. Episode 19. Episode 19. United Front.
Hmm.
Thorfinn at a fall, and not a fall, of course. I don't know why I said that. At a fall when Thorkel kicked him. Right, that was a strong kick. My boy flew and then like landed back and
Hmm.
passed out. As Thorkel's
Hmm.
approaching, this dude snaps back into reality. Just he's so agile. This dude's like a cat. Of
Yeah.
course, Thorkel, a true warrior. It's like I can't fight you like this, man. It's like you can't even fight, bro. He's like I don't need your sympathy. The fact that his arm is broken, like yet he still get in the fighting position, and of course his arm gave out. Like, dude, I can't, I can't do it. But it was just
All
like,
that adrenaline.
right,
You're gonna feel
it
the
left
pain.
fast. The pain came back fast. I was like,
Yeah.
ah, oh, Jesus. Yep.
That was a right
Hospital.
angle. That was rough.
Yeah. Uh huh. The way it
That
was
shit was
broken.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Ugh.
And of course, he's just like such a hothead. So Askeladd, the voice of reason, comes tells him, "Bro, you need to relax. Like use your head. Like, if you're gonna win this, you're gonna have to use your head." And Thorkel's like, "You know what? I think the
Mm.
first half was great. You've earned the right for me to tell you a little about your dad." It's like, great backstories. We're both, we're both, we were both commanders, right? The Jumps Vikings, and he
Mm.
mentioned these guys were what's the word for uh sexist against sex, like misogynist against women. What's the word for against height? What's was
Against
is
height.
there yeah, like you have something against height. There's no word for that.
Uh, you mean like against people who are tall,
Short.
or
Like
against people who are short?
honestly, bro, I'm digressing
Uh,
already.
I think that's just a dick.
There's
I don't know.
I think there's a word. Like, yeah. Actually, no, there might not be a word. But yeah, he was like, the Jones Vikings were very specific. They didn't accept average height warriors. Not even warriors, average
Mm.
height men. That's what they mentioned. So Thor was like tall. We were all tall. And he's like,
Mm.
Thor, they called him the troll because he was good. He was a good fighter. So good that the leader, Sigvaldi,
Hmm.
if that's how it's spelled,
Sigvaldi. You.
offered his own daughter Elga to Thor's. And then Thorkel
Mm.
mentioned the leader was his older brother, which means Thorfinn
Right.
is his nephew, and he's his Thorfinn's great uncle.
Related.
They are related.
Ooh, the Thor family.
Yeah,
The
the
Thorkel,
Thor
Thorkel.
family, Thorfinn, Thorkel, Thors. Like, oh man! And then, like, of course, in a battle in Norway, which we lost, Thors fell at
Mm.
sea and faked his death. We know fake his death. Do you think the only reason they lost that battle is because Thors was not there to finish it? Like he was that
Mm.
impactful to their crew, or they were just vastly outnumbered? Because I remember that first scene when he did jump from ship to ship and kill a ton of people, a ton of men. Like he had the upper hand until he was in the water and made that decision. That's what I like when they show you that first scene of the first episode. Like,
Yeah, I think they must have been disadvantaged on the water because they
mhm,
had they had Thorkel as well, and we know what he's capable of.
that's true.
So I would imagine like if this was a battle on land, they most likely would have won, but
Hmm.
maybe they had a disadvantage at sea, and that's why they lost. Because Thorkel, he's not he can't jump from boat to boat uh like Thor's can.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that he's fairly limited on the battlefield when it's at sea, right? So that's what I would imagine anyway.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, because a man his size, his height, yeah, yeah, you that agility. It'd be weird if you have that.
Yeah.
He's like the
Hmm.
great Khali or the Big Show, or that other guy that plays in movies. Yeah, Great Khali I
The
mentioned,
Rock.
or Mark Henry. No, not The Rock. I'm talking about wrestlers or Andre the Giant, like big wrestlers. Where these guys are on the chubby side. Like Thorkel's just tall.
The Rock is massive though.
Is The Rock tall though?
Yeah, he's huge.
I know I'm size, but like, I'm talking about height. I mean, he
Yeah,
might,
like he's
he
him.
might, he
I'm
might
pretty
be
sure
tall.
he's well over 6 foot
Yeah,
2.
dude, aren't we both of us over? I'm 6'2", so but still, yeah, The Rock is on some. Yeah, yeah, these guys are tall. Like,
He's a giant for sure.
yes, okay, bro, giant. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? He's not a giant. Like, is The Rock paying
Hold
for
on.
this
Okay,
for the show? What
wait a
is?
minute. Let me do a quick Google search here. Wait a second.
Honestly, yeah, this is worth it, man. This is worth it. This man's talking about
The
he's a
Rock.
giant. What are you talking about?
Okay, he is 6'5". That is gigantic.
That's three
especially
inches
when you,
more than me.
especially, but when you look at his mass and you factor in the height, that is abnormal. I think he can classify as a giant.
You
I
know what,
think that's
man? Why not? Sure,
I think that's fair.
that is true. That is true. Anyway, homeboy's morning. It's so sad because he's been the losses hit him so hard that even though we see it just for that night, it seems like it has been a habit for those 3 months while he was mourning. Because well, not mourning, Thor died. Thor's died. Like that, he's on the roof of that house getting drunk. You know, just
Mm,
little things I tend to like overanalyze shit. But it was like, why that house? I don't know. It was just such a bond. It was like a brother because that was like his not of his that was his superior. That was a one man that he deemed was better than him. So there must have been a
mhm.
sense of like brotherhood. You know, like your own brother offered his sister, meaning your niece, to him to marry.
Right.
I don't know. That was very dope. And then Thor's come in, of course. Oh my goodness, like that interaction. This man, I he described him as being good. I didn't know he was that good. Like this man literally, all right, before we get to the little fight scene, how he got to Thorkill. Well, granted, Thorkill was drunk. He's so stern.
Mhm.
He's like, I'm here, don't make a scene. I understand what a real warrior is. Now, of course, they don't define it yet. Do you think that means leaving fights and everything else aside and being there for my wife and being there for my kid? As in a warrior, someone who fights for his family and their well-being instead of like a sword. Or I understand what a warrior is, putting things into perspective, like battles that are more important in my life. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think it has multiple definitions, and that's most certainly one of them. It's like when you fight, it's because you're fighting to protect. It's not you're fighting for the sake of a war or you're
Right.
fighting like the
Mm-hmm.
Vikings do. And also, this is reinforced because uh, when Thor said, "I understand what a real warrior is," the camera showed us a shot of his baby, and then he gripped. Helga's shoulder as he said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's accurate to say.
Dude. He's like, this should be punishable by death. That you're escaping your duties. Like, as a warrior, you're leaving the line. Like, we should kill you for this. And he's like, do what you gotta do. And homeboy square up. And this man broke. Is it an axe? What's the weapon? Like, he broke that thing
I think it
in
was an
half,
axe. Yeah,
bro. Not from a punch, by the way. From being on
ricochet.
the defensive. Like, Thorkel swung and he blocked and broke and knocked this man out with one punch. But did you see how quick, like how light he was on his feet? Because Thor's too is also a big man. Thor's is huge. I mean, Thorkel is like huger, but Thor's it's like this man just bounced and knocked him. It- yo,
Yeah,
crazy
it was
shit.
pretty crazy.
He looked like he never played, man. This dude was always serious. I only saw him laugh with like Thorfinn after he dies. Like when Thorfinn's like hallucinates, like in Vinland. Like, oh, Thorfinn,
Hmm.
this man is, oh, dude, nah, we missed out, bro. We missed out.
We missed out. What do you mean?
We really missed out. I don't know. I feel like they should not have taken him so soon. The flashbacks are just, they should have been like a, This Is Us kind of thing. The show This Is Us, the father's dead, like since the father's been dead, but he's kept in the show because throughout the show, the writers move from present, past, and future. So it should have been something like that.
Ah,
Yeah,
hmm.
dude, no, that's such a beautiful concept. This Is Us is a very good show, great show. But yeah, it's finished, by the way. The show's done. But I like how Jack is dead, but Jack's still in there. Like Thor's every little snip, every little piece that they show me of Thor's, I'm like, bro, that was a great man. Like Kathleen's brother, Michael. Was that his name, Michael? And
Michael.
the
Yeah.
Last of Us. Yeah, I mean, this guy didn't even show us this guy at all, but like they just told us crazy shit. Like, like he's a man that you would lead. He's the man you'd follow anywhere. He was a good man. Oh, it's crazy shit. I like when they do that. But every time they show me Thor's, bro, it's like this man was this man embodied a true warrior.
Yeah. Thor's every time he's on the screen, it's you're in
Bro,
for a good moment, a good scene.
seriously, man. Like, did he sin? Beside from killing people.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He definitely sinned. He was a bad, bad, bad man. The
uh,
best.
I mean, yeah, crazy shit. And yeah, he's like, you know what? Thor's left that night. This is Thorkill still explaining. Yeah, Thor's left. And then about 15 years later, I heard of his actual death. You look up at the sky. He's like, like I wonder where it's at. You know what's important for a warrior is where their soul is. Now, does
Yes,
that
that gives
mean,
insight. That's good.
yeah, yes. Yeah, does that mean like not atonement, no atonement. Oh, not that. Like basically dying but your conscience being at peace. I don't know. Because I didn't understand that from coming from Thorkel because he said, as warriors, we want to die on the battlefield to go to Valhalla because that's the highest honor for a warrior to die while fighting, the one thing that you're good
Right.
at. So I don't know what he meant by that. So that their soul is, it just matters where their soul is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it kind of gives insight into why Thorkel treats living so carelessly, or
Mm,
the idea of life. It's not he's not so attached to living. I think it's because he believes that being a human is like a temporary existence, and it's
okay.
just a place for you to showcase your worth when it comes to being in Valhalla, which is truly like that's where life begins, I guess. That might be how he sees it. So when he says what's important for a warrior is where their soul is, it's like the life you live as a human, that's where you kind of refine your soul so that when it transitions into Valhalla, then you experience greatness for the rest of eternity, I guess.
Hmm.
At least that's how I'm I
Okay,
see his meaning there.
that makes sense. Okay, makes sense. Like it. And it takes us back
Yeah.
to the present. And Thorfinn's like half dead, of course. The dude's just broken arm, broken, like definitely ribs, because that fall might as well have been like falling off of like a 20-story building or something. Just
Yeah, that was a couple stories for sure.
yeah. So Askeladd gets behind him. He's like, I'll show you how to beat this guy. It's like
The first bit of tenderness we see from Oskala to
right,
Thorfinn.
but self-interest. That's the thing, right?
And self interest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, dude, I need you to not die because he
Because
said,
if
because
you
if
die, I die.
right. Oh man, he's like, all right, I'm gonna advise you how to make it out of there. Great. So keep fighting. So Thorfinn is fighting. We see Askeladd slowly moving in the back. What is he doing? Thorfinn is being quick, agile, escaping the blows because he's in the defensive. Not really defending, more of the avoidance. He's just like taking 1, 2, 3 step back. Thorkel's swinging his step back, step back. Askeladd, keep going. And then Askeladd mentions an anecdote, which, oof, which takes me to Infinity War. But anyway, I'm gonna say his thing too. Asgard remembers a time where he fought against Thorkel, and Thorkel's actually fell like on the battlefield,
Dang.
which equates like that he's not infallible, that this man is defeatable.
He has a
Now,
weakness.
he has a weakness, sure. That reminded me of Infinity War when Tony Stark like actually swung at Thanos and Thanos bled. He was like, you can bleed. It's like, nah, you can die. I was like, like
You are
even that.
mortal.
Oh, even that, you were immortal. It's just, oh, that was good. That was good. So he uses the reflection of the sun as a distraction, and Thorfinn injures one of his eyes. Well, not injured, like just gouges shit out. Just, like,
After knocking him in the chin.
yeah,
Storkel has a weak chin.
right.
Weak chin.
Uh, so of course I like his reaction to this. Like his men are like, "What? Let's go." He's like, "Stop! What are you guys doing? Stop!" It's like he's like, "This was the bargain that we had." Like he's furious that his guys stepped in. He's like, "You guys just spoiled the duel. It was supposed to be just between him and I. You just walked in there. How do you have honor? Like, how do you do this, dude? His right hand man, yo." I hate that I don't remember
Um,
this man's name.
yeah, it's
Asgard,
Asgard.
Asgard,
Yeah, there it is.
dude. This man, like he's in a chokehold, well, head hold. You're about to get decapitated by this man's head. He's like, I don't care what you do. I would do what I just did again because as our leader, my duty is to fucking protect you. Look, I would kill this kid and I would kill him again because he tried killing you. And in that moment, Thorgel is like, but you're right. It's like,
He
dude,
appreciates it.
yeah, that's
Well,
damn.
kind of.
No. This guy's under like I don't know. There's just a lot of main characters in this show, but as his role slowly diminished as we finish the season. But like I like this guy's character, and the fact that Thorkel
Yeah.
would have him by his side, like his second lieutenant, tells you a lot about that guy also. Because Thorkel doesn't gel with any kind of people.
Oh yeah, he's surrounded by killers because this whole time
Yeah.
his like unit has remained 500, right? I don't think
Yes.
that number
That
has
is-
decreased this whole time.
yes. That's that's actually true. And these men want a fight.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Many Thor
and
kills.
these men are dying for a fight.
Yeah.
That's true. The unit remained 500. It has yet to decrease. Oh man, the prince comes in. Why are you fighting in vain? Like you guys are
Mhm.
fighting for something and there's no honor in it. Like I'll show you guys where it is to have true honor, what to fight for. Tell Torkel, let them go because he lost the fight, of course. He's like, shit, I had to let them go. They did win. And he said, this is the worst day I've had in 50 years. Which I was like, bro, I thought you were gonna say they like Thor's died because like, I saw you cry. But I was like, okay, I guess that's worth. I guess that's worse actually. It's one thing mourning the
Mm.
loss of someone; it's another to lose a fight against a small kid in front of your all your men.
Yeah, because he might have seen Thor's. I don't know. Did he? I don't remember if he knows specifically how he died. But I was gonna say, like, if he thought that Thor's died in battle, then he'd probably be like, oh, that's a he went out like a he went out fighting, or he
Mm.
went out like a warrior, so he's in Valhalla. So maybe that's why it's not as sad to him. But
That's a good point, Christian. I'm gonna use that, but it just to show you. I'm gonna circle back to what you just said. The Thorfinn's character as a person, the way Thorfinn takes his battles, his fight personally. He could have easily told his uncle, the man who killed my dad and the guy you considered a brother is right here, and it was done such a cowardly way. Kill this man. But just
oh
the fact
no,
that I
yeah,
understand,
Thor.
I know that's not Thorfinn's like that's not like he's not like that at all. Like I need to avenge my dad. You need to die by my
Mm,
hand. But I'm just saying, it's just to show you, because dude, I would have done some shit like that. Like yeah, this man, Thor's that you're mourning over. This man, this man took him from us.
right
Just-
there, officer. Right there.
yeah, yeah, that's true. He really doesn't know. He was never told.
Mm,
Crazy shit. Anyway, the prince come out here making demands, let them go, and Thorkell's like, wait a minute, hold up. Like, bro, what make you think like I'll just let prey walk away? And he's like, well, holding me captive won't get you that far anyway. My father doesn't love me. He's giving the throne to my brother Harlan. He said my existence is a source of distress to the king.
mm,
Bro. Damn. And then he said, I don't care about my life. And Torkel gets up. Like, you know what? Let me test this motherfucker. Let's see if you don't really care. He didn't
mm.
even flinch. Just, bro, the
Yeah.
wind from that punch alone was scary.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
I do think that the one thing that Canute still has to experience is true like physical pain,
yeah.
you know, because it's like because to deal with the people that Canute is dealing with, these are people who they experience pain on a daily basis, like physical
That's
pain.
true. Yeah.
So to have no experience with that, it can undermine the authority that you carry when you give out commands. Because like pain to a Viking, that's a hallmark in a sense. And while it is admirable that he's able to just stand there while Thorkel throws a punch at him. It's like, has he ever truly experienced what it feels like to be in like serious pain? I wonder that, and I wonder if he will experience that in the future because
Because you didn't see season two. That's true. Yeah,
yeah, because
it's
you
a good
know
point actually.
being in pain can really shape your perspective, and having like memory of at one point being in intense pain can influence who you are and the kind of decisions you make. And but yeah, I think because he's had this epiphany so far, I think
Yeah.
that's the last aspect that would really like refine his leadership ability in the
Hmm.
future. Just some kind of thing. Because even the king, even his father, like remember when he took off his robe, he had like all these
Yeah.
battle wounds and scars. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that's somebody who's been through some shit. And
Yeah.
Canute, he still has, he's young, he still has a lot of shit to go through before.
Honestly, that's true, man. That is true. That's true. There's a growth in the leadership traits and the way he thinks, the way he carries himself. There's a confidence booster that he's undergone under is that it?
Mm,
Is that how you say it?
undergone, yeah,
Yeah.
undergone.
English is not my first language. We've discussed this at length, but yeah. there's this. So yeah, he's yeah, it's been quick, but yeah, at the same time that's true. There are some other aspects of like especially a warrior that he's yet to, like in physical pain. That's one thing he is not. Yeah, there's a certain level of physical pain he's yet to go through, because like we can see that the dude's body is like flawless. The dude's been
Right.
sheltered physically and emotionally his whole life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually shocked. Like his growth for in like 2 episodes. Like this man went from Jon Snow season one, where Jon Snow was never weak. He was not shy, but he was just reserved, like an introvert, to with all due respect, my queen, I'm not gonna bow. Just like, but we saw that in season 6 of Game of Thrones. Just, I'm a king and I will not bow. But this man went from episode 10, don't touch me, I can't speak in front of people, to episode 12, you will follow me. It's like,
Yeah, and you did I forget exactly what you said, but when we were talking about that episode, you did mention how you could understand how that's what you said, right? That you could understand how that sudden transition would happen.
yes, that's what I can understand. There's just so much to digest in a small period of time. Like my dad actually wanted to
Yeah.
kill me. Like you've been trying to protect me, but I have to go through this. And the priest hit him with some hard truth. Yeah, you had to wake up from that, like Sleeping Beauty type shit. Like bitch, wake up. Like you're in war. Wake up. It's like that definition of love. Like no, you weren't love. That was discrimination. You need to know what fucking's going on. No, that's yeah, yeah. That wake up call was that smack. That was constructive criticism. Well, he wasn't criticized. That was constructive truth. it just
Mm,
it constructed him.
mhm,
No, but so far he's doing good. I like the growth. The character development is sudden, but I understand it. Yeah, I understand it.
mhm.
But yeah, he's like and Thorkel had a little moment. He's like, I to be completely honest, you regret not following Thor's that night. Maybe you would have learned what it means to be a true warrior. Oh, before he said that, when he passed the punch test, he looked in his eyes and he said, "I saw that
Yeah.
look before, that
Mm.
stern, that won't back down, like that confidence." And then take us
What are
back
you
to Thor's
looking at?
eyes. What are you looking at?
What do
Hmm.
you see with those eyes?
Dude. At the same time, this king's vassals, man. You have Thorkel following you, who sees you as okay. There's potential there. You have Askeladd, who already sees there's potential there too. Those are like the best two right hand man you can ask for. Like,
And you have the bloodline of Thor's, another bloodline of Thorkill as well, and Thorfinn by your
hmm,
side.
yeah, no, that's true. But Thorfinn's here for one thing. And Thorfinn has made that pretty clear. He has been vocal about that. Like, I'm not following you, bro. I'm just here for that guy. Wherever that guy go, I
Yeah,
go.
he's still an intimidating presence, though.
Of
I
course,
would,
of
I would
course.
be afraid.
Yeah, yeah. He's the first one that provoked Canute. Spoke back to him like, "You're my age and you can't do shit." It's like,
Yeah.
oh, crazy shit, crazy shit. He say he regret not following him, and then he gets up and tells his men, "From now on, I will follow Canute. I'll help you fight." He's like, "I'm gonna end up fighting King Sweyn anyway, so it is what it is."
Mm.
And Askeladd start laughing. He's like, "Oh, that's it. The plan is coming. The plan is like, yo, the soup is boiling." It's
Mm.
like we are gelling well, because that's a great merger. Oh,
And also, it's like it's having Canute convince the strongest person that
dude.
we know of in the world to join his side. Like,
Yeah, yep. I picked the
especially
right
given the
one.
fact, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
in the same day he was that like little kid who was like timid. Like, I'm sure Oscalad was thinking, uh, like this confirms it that Canute is worthy of being my
Mm-hmm.
Artorias. Like he's worthy
Yeah.
of being a man that I can follow and
Mm-hmm.
place my future in.
This is
This is
true.
really
This is
cool.
true. This is true. And Ocelot, pledge allegiance. He stepped down, and then this man had the boldness. I feel like even that was a test.
Yep, definitely. No, I know what
Oh,
you're gonna say. Definitely was.
he said I kill Ragnar. Oh, because this man is, because that's the thing. Like let's see if you can be king like. Like let's see if you also
And
have that attribute of patience and this sharp mentality of making a decision for the greater good and not giving in to emotions. It's
and not
like,
only was it a test for Canute, it was also a display of Oscalad's resolve to assist Canute as well. He didn't
yeah, let
have
me
to
come
say that.
clean. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 I want to be 100% transparent to show you that I will be at your right side and there will be no deceitful and malice and ruse. Yes, you're going to get the 100% version of me, starting with this blow to the heart. I killed that foe. I killed that dude. Like, damn.
That was me. I admit
Oh,
that was me.
I love that he hasn't fully immersed into the role of a king yet because we're seeing the transition. So therefore, it took him, he had to turn around. I love that because there's no way I can face this man and not wanting to kill him right now. He's like, oh, he turned around. Like, oh, he's as his fist squeeze. And then he said, work on his behalf too. That's how you shall mourn his death. What a punishment, bro. It's not really a punishment, but what a, like that
Atonement.
that was so, that's not mind games at all. That's not what it is. But it's like, I know you killed him. He was good. Now this is your duty for what you did. Work so you can replace him. As
It's
in, like,
leadership.
yeah, that's an assignment right there. Like,
Yeah.
you did something bad for me. Now I just, what does this remind me of? This remind me of his deal with Thorfinn. Impress me so you can earn a duel. You want to be my right hand man? You killed my right hand man. Work so you can be as hard as him. Dude, it's like, oh man, nah. These people are geniuses, man. It's like, bro, wow, what an assignment. Damn, the self control. But he wasn't looking at him as he said that because he wanted to kill him. Just, anyway, they stand up, and of course, Canute is leading, bro. So let's go rip King Sween from the throne. And Thor,
Gainsborough.
and Thorkel's walking. He's like, hey, I killed most of your men. We cool.
Water under the bridge.
Right under the bridge. Like, all 500 of mine are still 500.
We're still strong. We're still
We're
going.
still strong. Oh, this man said it's all good. It's all good. All right. But yeah,
Okay.
episode 19 ends. Fantastic.
And episode 20 begins. Episode 20 is called Crown. So, as you said, now Canute leads Thorfinn, Oscalad, and then the other 500 men right up to the outskirts of Gainsborough. And then we see a pissed off Floki marching towards the entrance of the headquarters because a few days prior, he got word from a messenger from Canute that warned him of his incoming arrival, and they were finally at the gates. And Floki couldn't believe from this messenger that not only is Canute alive, but he convinced the strongest man in the world to follow him. So that makes him a little scared. So he brings a small unit with spears as insurance in case anything goes wrong. But then Floki comes face to face with Canute and his small army, and he's taken aback by what he sees because he confirms that it wasn't a lie. It's true. Floki
Right.
was right there, right in front of him. And nervously, he gives like phony respect to Canute, but Canute sees right through it and he addresses him like a leader. And Canute demands that he explains, like, yo, what is it with this hostile greeting? What are you doing? And then Floki, he lies about receiving false information about an enemy attack. And Canute, still seeing right through it, he gives him this intimidating, condescending look. Like, I know you're bullshitting me right now. But the smartest move is to your not address you, not address your existence right now. And so then they just march into the fort and they head towards the center of the headquarters. And as they walk, oh, sorry, were you going
Yes.
to say something?
Yes. As they walk. No, go ahead. Go ahead. As they walk.
Yeah, so as they walk, Canute, he strategizes with the main crew. So the main crew is like Oscalot, Thorfinn, and also Asgar. Uh, which, yeah, he does kind of disappear after here. But yeah, so since he's like Canute is saying that since he has few allies in the army, they can't attack yet. So they need to be tactical about what they do. So he assigns Thor's and then also by association Asgar the responsibility of mending ties with the leaders since or sorry, not Thor's, Thorkel. He assigns him the responsibility of mending ties with the leaders since he betrayed them in the past. And then Oscalad, he is Canute's right hand man and
Mm-hmm.
strategist. So he tells him to come with me and let's go talk to the king. And for Thorfinn, he says, you can be on guard and I trust you to do that. And then Thorfinn, he says he doesn't want to follow his orders, but it's Thorfinn's way of saying, okay, sure, I'll follow your orders for now. And yeah, so then Canute, he continues talking with Oscalad about the best way to deal with the king. And Oscalad says assassination would be the best plan. And this is because Canute's brother, Harold, is far away currently.
Right.
So um, after the king's death, the army would naturally be passed down to Canute, I guess, since like he's in the closest proximity to his death or to his dead father. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna touch on their conversation, or not really conversation, but Canute's little interaction with God. But before that, were you gonna say something about?
Yes, the interaction with God. That's what I was gonna get to. Because he
Okay,
mentioned something that he's foreshadowing season two. But no, go ahead, bro.
okay. Yeah. So Canute, he um pretty much he's reveling in the fact that God is watching them, looking down on them, as he called it, and he spitefully says that he'll never forgive him. He looks up to the sky, he scours, and once again he declares his intention to create a utopia on Earth, no matter how many generations it takes, because he will be the one to take the first step. And I find it interesting that it's not that Canute no longer believes in the existence of a god, but rather he believes that God exists, but just now he holds like a strong
Mm-hmm.
animosity towards him and his choices. So because Canute, he goes on to say, like, I'm sure God will be so impressed that he'll call me to his side, but in that moment, I will tell him we don't need heaven nor its trials any longer. Our paradise is on earth now. It's a very vengeful statement with a dash of human pride and a little bit of arrogance as well.
Right.
But and then he goes on to say that like I'm willing to turn into a demon if that's what it takes.
That's
In
it.
other words, that's like him saying he's willing to become a devil,
That's
the
it.
natural rival of God, if that's what it takes to spite him and accomplish his goal. And he'll turn this hell into a utopia. Mhm.
That's it. That's
What do
what I want
you
to.
think
That's what.
about
That's.
it?
Oh, I've seen like 4 episodes of season two. That's what I'm saying, Christian.
Okay, well,
Like when he said,
don't. Yeah, okay, don't. I
"Yo,
don't. I
don't
don't
do
want to
it.
hear anything about season two. Nothing
No,
about
don't
season
do it.
two.
No, no. I will
Nothing
shut
at
this
all.
podcast down right now."
I,
Listen, he said I'm willing to turn into a demon if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Just hang on to these words. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And after they have this little moment, they finally confront the king, who sits on a throne with a guard to his left and his right. So, but even though we only see two guards, there's about 20 men in hiding, just waiting for the signal to
Right.
ambush. Askeladd says the king knows their intentions, hence the 20 men hiding in ambush. But Canute, he arises to the challenge, and he says that the first ones to draw their sword loses. This is a battle of wit, a battle of composure, and then he proceeds to converse with his father. And then so they have an intense interaction under the facade of respect. The conversation is very chess-like and it's riddled with subtext and animosity. Every word that they said could be dissected,
Yep.
but there's four key things that I'm going to highlight because there's so much in that conversation. I think having a little bit of some things to latch onto is beneficial. So, thing number one, the king saying that the crown has a will of its own. So, for this, he's basically describing the influence wearing a crown has on a person and how you cannot control or go
Mm-hmm.
against that influence. You can only submit to it. And any king who wears the crown must be aware that they are only a vassal that this force will use as a conduit to exert its
Right.
will. So, and there are two things that the crown influences the king to do. The first is to use his power, the second is to increase his power. So, the king says that the crown does not deem Canute as a worthy conduit. And after saying this, he calls the men in hiding to draw their spears towards Canute. So, um, the and okay, so let me just mention like the three other things, and then I'll ask you what you think about this whole conversation just in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the second thing, Canute, he provokes the king, to which Osclad interrupts and tries to alleviate the tension. He, with convincing words, he asks the king not to punish Canute for stepping out of line.
Right.
And the king reveals that the true meaning behind the name Oscalad, which means covered in ash. So then the king starts to say that I assume like you're the child, or no, he says he assumes that he must be the child. Uh, no, he must be a child his father forced a slave to have.
Right.
And then we get a quick shot of Oscalad being furious, the most
Yeah.
furious we've ever seen him in the show. But he's facing the ground, so nobody can see his expression.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Thorfinn, he noticed
Yep.
an aura about him. It kind of looked like Nen from Hunter x Hunter. It's the first
Yes.
thing I thought of.
that's,
You thought of that
that's,
too,
that's,
right?
that's the first thing I thought of. I was gonna say that right now.
Yeah, yeah. It looks exactly like Nen, and yeah, and he was shocked because he never saw Oscalad get so mad out of the 10 years that he was with Oscalad,
He's very
which is
composed.
important.
It's true.
That's important. Well, I'll for the later episode I'll talk about that more.
Mm.
But yeah, and then it's the second point. The third point for the conversation, the interaction ends with the king saying that he'll reward Canute at a banquet that he'll throw in New York. And he only agreed to do this because of what Oscalad said. And then the fourth thing is that Canute, he has a different interpretation of the crown. And he says that the king is merely a slave to its influence. Uh, and he doesn't have the ability to truly control it. And because of that, he just believes that nobody can control it. But Canute says he'll show him what it means to truly be in control while wearing the crown. So, you have any thoughts on just anything in the conversation? because that was a
Mm.
lot that went down in there.
I like that the king recognized the change in Canute. He was like, "Yeah, I never
Mm,
thought you'd grow up to be like me," because to Canute's perspective, this is all subjective. We're watching. To him, it's like, "I am fit to rule. I've been cast down and to the side, like Harold. My brother Harold's been, the guy that was meant to inherit this, and I'm gonna prove to this man that I got it." And we can see some growth in him, but the king can see something more. He's like you, I was ambitious, and he mentioned I killed. No, did he kill his dad? Oh, no, he mentioned my the man who wore this before me was a coward. His dad. I didn't
mm.
think he was fit to rule. Wait, am I speaking ahead, or is that the same scene? Like,
I don't think he did say his father was a coward, but I don't think he killed him though.
okay, he didn't kill him, but is that the same scene? I'm not jumping anywhere. Like we're at that conversation still. I just want to
Yeah,
confirm.
I'm pretty sure. I'm
Okay,
pretty sure. Yeah.
yeah. So the fact that he can see the ambition, but also the darkness in a way, has like you're not that far off anyway, too, son. Like I'm seeing what you will become. I'm foreshadowing season two. Spoilers, just kidding. But
Oh
yeah, it's
boy.
like this is where I was. I was right there too. I was like, dude, that's pretty cool. The fact that he can see it, because that's like if you're a king, your wisdom is something you must have assimilated over very years of governing and ruling. So to notice that in your son, notice the difference right away. Because homeboy steps in, starts speaking. He's like, "Whoa, you have changed." So I love that he recognized that, and I love Canute's confidence too. Also, him recognizing that his father's also a slave. Like you're talking about, you see me that you took this from your dad. No, I'm looking at you. I see someone who's unfit to rule because I can do this better. Because you don't know what's best. It's like I will prove you. I'd love the different, like not thoughts, different opinions of each other from this. Like you got a lot to
Mm,
go, but sure, I see some me in you, but you don't have the wisdom that I do have. So therefore, decisions I can take right now, you can't because I leap and bound ahead of you. And Canute's like, nah, bro, you're unfit. Like I will show you. Like I'm not a slave to anything. I have a clear mind. You're a slave to that crown. And Askeladd
mm,
boiling on the floor, of course, because the was like, you must be a son of like a, yeah. Askeladd's very not patriotic. Is patriotic is your country? He is that too. But what is for a man who's not easily wound up? If you talk about his family, his mom specifically, it's like
mm,
homeboy holds a lot of like that hold weight, that hold a lot of meaning. That's close to his heart.
yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
interaction, but that's what I took from it.
Yeah. Yes. So much went down there.
And Thorfinn is
Um.
just a bystander. It's like,
Yeah. Well, he was ready though. He was definitely
mm-hmm.
ready to kill if need
Yeah,
be.
it could have been a trap. That's true. Yeah,
Oh, it was a trap. Yeah. Yeah.
it really was a trap. Yeah.
But yeah, so after that we cut to a banquet where Canute, Oscalot, and Thorkel are feasting, and we see the priest, Willy Bad, shaved his beard. He's
He's
having a drinking
23.
contest with everyone. He's
Like,
23. He's a young priest, with a deep ass voice.
right.
And Canute, he asks Oscalad like what was his impression of the king, to which he said that he's a smart, discerning man who's skilled in
Mm-hmm.
war. He's gonna
Yep.
be a tough opponent.
Yep.
And then we see Ragnar's brother Gunnar.
Mm-hmm.
Gunnar. He introduces himself to Oscalad, and Canute tells him to keep tabs on the king. Um, and then we see Oscalad. He goes to take a piss
Wait, real quick.
outside. Yeah, what's up?
Canute said, "Keep an eye on the king." He also said, "The exile options that I had you look into, no need to look into them further." Like
Right.
meaning before this transformation, this awakening of like going for the crown, challenging, being an actual contender. My boy was planning on exiling because I mean he knew like my father don't love me. So just to show you that journey, that shift in perspective, that shift in role, like so many things were laid down like he laid him down, and I'm assuming his Ragnar helped too, because Ragnar knew like you're not fit to be, you don't belong with these men. Like you need to live a more peaceful life. So all these things were put in place. So Gunnar's like, hey, just so you know, I have found these things. Yes, neighbor and countries that we wanted to get into. He's like, no, I'm not doing that no more. As in, this man was 1 foot out of leaving all this crown and royal family shit behind anyway. That's why Gunnar was like, oh, what? But anyway, I thought that was nice. That
Yeah,
was very nice.
and yeah, and even before, like when Ragnar was dying, and he was telling Askeladd about this whole messiness of the prince and the king and everything, he
Yeah,
was like, "Go find my brother. He'll be able to." He basically talked about the plan that Gunnar was saying, like go into exile. Just find Gunnar. That should be like your number one priority. And I'm pretty
right.
sure Askeladd was just like, "No, I'm not going to do that."
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's still running away. That's no, no, no. I'm gonna mold this kid into being a king. Like, what are you talking about? Just
Yeah.
you're a weak ass fucking raise a farm boy. Find Gunnar to keep raising a farm boy. Nah, nah, bro. No, no, thank you.
Yeah, so then Askeladd goes to take a piss, and then he sees that Thorfinn is training outside, even with a broken arm. Um, Very slick animation there. Just want to point out the way Thorfinn was fighting that bucket.
Mm, yeah,
They put a lot of effort into that. Um, and then while or after he's taking a piss, the brothers who used to be a
yep.
part of his crew,
Atli and
uh,
Torgrim. Yep.
Otley and Thorgrim. Yep, those two. Thorgrim is completely out of it. Otley still has his wits about him, and they surprisingly have a wholesome conversation as far as Askeladd his and his character is concerned. He His Askeladd, basically the brothers they came to apologize, and Askeladd he doesn't blame them. He doesn't berate them. He just he gives Otley gold to send them on his way,
Yeah.
and then before handing the gold to him, he says, "I'll give you this on condition that you'll never pick up a sword again, and you'll live a quiet life, and you'll die a quiet death. Because if I
Right.
ever see you on the battlefield again, I'm gonna kill you." And yeah, and then they part ways very peacefully.
What do you think
Um,
of that?
mm,
I sure. I'll say my piece first. Yeah.
mm,
I haven't seen Askeladd do something so nice to any one of his men, for any one of his men, because he's looking for warriors. And if you look at what that setback cost him, Thorkel was able to catch up. He was able to. They basically beaten him. He got freaking arrowed all over his knees. So the fact that this guy's asking for forgiveness and him giving him the best piece of advice, he basically just saved his life. Like you're not made for this, bro. Like I'm
yeah,
not even. Yeah, it's like because he is a big reason why Thorkill caught up. If that commotion didn't take place, they would have keep walking. Thorkill probably would. No, he would not have caught up. Actually, I don't think he would have, because he would have had to make the decision to leave his food behind, or like the plan Askeladd had for breaking the bridge down. So for him to not hold no resentment because the end value is great. Now we got Thorkill on our side, but to recognize that because Thorkill doesn't like cowards. If that was Thorkill, they probably would have killed this man. But for him to be like, you know what, dude,
yeah,
I thought that was dope.
yeah, and they also because Askeladd he said that, wow, I didn't know I had such honest men under me. So I
Yeah.
think this whole time he was under the assumption that everybody was just brutes, and that
Mm-hmm.
like I do not care for your type of people, so I will show you no
Yeah.
friendliness, no warmth, whatever. So when someone approaches him and they show that they're honest people because he didn't have to come and apologize. He knows Askeladd. Like Askeladd, probably he definitely could have killed him if he wanted
Yeah.
to, as like a fuck you for betraying me.
Right.
And but in spite of that, they came up to him and they apologized. So Askeladd, he probably, because they're honest, um, he showed them more favor than he would any other member aside from
That's
like
true.
Bjorn. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's what I
and
think of that
also
interaction.
Torgrim is a freaking vegetable now, so there's no point in killing that. Like, bro, you're gonna spend the rest of your day taking care of this like handicap, basically. Mental, like the
Yeah,
dude's mentally gone.
he
Just
snapped.
like Thorkel literally like took away this man's. uh, crazy stuff.
Yeah, and they part ways. So, and then we cut to the next day where we see a slave woman being auctioned off in a nearby town. We know that town is York. And in this town, we see an older Leif Erikson. He's searching for something. We don't know yet what he's searching for. And then the episode ends. Mm-hmm.
All right, episode 21, reunion. Is that the name, right? Reunion. That's what I have.
Yes.
Reunion. Perfect. They make it to York. What is York? York is a trading spot, basically the capital of commerce for goods that unites Northern Europe, Northern Europe and England. Just and like you mentioned, Leif Erikson, my boy got first and last name status like Maddie McCubbin. That's
Mm.
awkward. Thanks from a show awkward. Funny show. Anyway, Leif Erikson is there. He sees Askeladd, and it takes him to that day. This is the dude who killed Thors. I cannot believe it. He is here. Oh, rage,
Right in front of me.
furious, right in front of me. Of course. Here we go. Well, we see Askeladd and Canute talking. Askeladd is so freaking smart. So, the king will most likely divide you in Torquil. And unfortunately, you won't be able to say no because it's going to be a double edged sword, prize, and an order. You can't disobey the king. He said, you know what? What we can do is let's get ahead of it and leak the news to the people. Oh man, this reminded me of Money Heist. You've not seen Money Heist 2, Christian, of course. Um,
Nope.
Denver come out with the freaking, is it Denver? Denver come out with the freaking red box of all the government secret, and they're like, oh shit, we got them. So Sienna say, you know what? Let's fucking leak secrets, fake fabricated secrets, so we can get ahead of this. Ugh, I love her character. Just, you didn't understand anything I just said, Christian. It is what it is.
I
But
did
anyway,
not.
he said, let's get ahead of this. Oh shit, what's going on? Some boy's lurking on the crowd. Well, not boy, some man. And then he get in position, shoots the arrow. It hit the prince. He
Mm.
plummeted to the floor. All right. Why am I this theatrical? Oh man. Thorfinn, of course. Thorfinn sees the guy, chase him, kill the guy. Leaf finally finds homeboy after 11 years. It's
Mm.
like, Leaf, oof. And I love how they did this twice. Like one, they put when Thorfinn recognizes that it's Leaf. When Thorfinn recognizes that's Leaf, he put the picture of old Leaf and the picture of current Leaf to put them together. Like, you're Leif Erikson. Like, oh my goodness, you're Thorfinn. And great. Like, they hug it out. That's cool and all. And then they switch back. Oh my goodness, the prince is dead. What is going on? They unveil. What is this? This is just some
Hmm.
girl. And there was nudity, bro. There was nudity in this episode.
Wow. It was like side boob.
It was like side boob. It was side boob.
You were like, I knew it.
I
I
knew it.
knew it. It was a woman this whole
The
time.
prince comes in. Why did you choose a woman? We couldn't find any male slaves with your figure. Because you're a girl, bro. You're a girl. Oh my goodness. It's like, like, literally, I didn't even, the first time I watched this, because this is a rewatch, because we're running through. Dude, we say we're running through, but we spent like 2 hours speaking about these episodes. But anyway, I'm like, even the first time I watched this, when he's like, why was it a woman? I'm like, why do you think? Why do you think it was a woman? just, oh my goodness, great. And anyway, great. We couldn't find anyone in your figure. It is what it is. So Oscar look around. He said, we got to be cautious. There are some people in York who wants to harm you. And he's looking at Floki as he's saying this. Oh man. The switch back to Thorfinn and Leaf.
Hmm.
Thorfinn is telling Leaf, this is why I got to stick with this guy. This is why I got to kill this guy. And I'm going to do it with my father's dagger. Leaf's like, damn, all this is all for revenge. And he's like, dude, I can't, like, you've been through hell. He's talking to himself. Leaf's talking to himself. He's like, damn, this kid's been through
Hmm.
hell. But to save this kid, I need to forget the last 11 years. Like, because if I stay in this, trying to get my head to understand this end product, how Thorfinn ended up being who he is, what he's gone through, this will derail from my mission, which is what I promised his dad and myself and his family back in back in Iceland, that I will get him back. So he's like, I must forget the last 11 years. And he's like, what's going on in Vinland? Thorfinn asked him, oh, which is crazy. He said my dad is probably there. I dream sometimes. That's when I mentioned whenever you see Thor's like happy and smiling, but it's only in his head. Now,
Hmm.
Leaf is kind of taken aback. He's like, asking about Vinland. Like, why don't you ask about your mom? Why don't you ask about your sister? And Thorfinn's like, I didn't ask for any of them. Answer specifically what I asked you. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So when he said that, I'm like, is he repressing some of these thoughts? Like some of these memories?
Oh yeah,
Because
definitely.
yeah, man, it's just because that's you have to be so laser focused. You want to kill this man because he killed your dad, but at the same time, you need to rid yourself of like your family ties. Because if you take any time to think about it, you'd be like, damn, I have a mom and a sister that's waiting, but I'm here to try to avenge my father, but I'm losing myself, losing time with them yearly, bro. It's been 11 years.
Hmm.
My goodness. He's like, you must have enough, and he's like, what? Talking about enough? Like, I'm not gonna have enough until Askeladd is dead, bro. And as he says this, Leaf, woo, they show us the two images: an innocent little boy and just this far gone, lost teenager, bro. And if you juxtapose these two images, the contrast is insane. Oh,
Hmm.
the difference, dude. The years. Wow. No, I love these two images. Just like you can see. No. I know this is anime. This is not the. This is like. Is this drawn? This is drawings. Is this
Yeah. Hmm. They're drawn.
to convey all that? To show you the years, to show you the trauma just in a face, and to show you the innocence, to show you the positivity, to show you the happiness, the childhood, just in another face. Just, bro, I could write a whole dissertation about these two faces. Like I could write a whole persuasive essay. I just
MLA format.
MLA format. Oh, it's freaking beautiful, man. Damn, like that cheerful kid is gone. And it take us to Bjorn and Askeladd. Yo, bro, the conversations in this episode, Christian. I should have given you the odd numbers. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Uh Bjorn is like, this room is too small of a reward for sacrificing my life. Because if you think about it, me being me doing this is the reason this prince is still here. Because hmm, honestly, Christian, is it in vain? They
Is
had
what in vain?
Bjorn's huge injury leading to him dying. Because the orders from Thorkild to get the prince was not to kill the prince, was to kidnap the prince. Kidnap the prince or
Hmm.
not, the prince would have already went through that awakening to let them know once he got to Thorkild that I'm not going to be a hostage. I'm going for my king, which Thorkild would have agreed to anyway. Did Bjorn get injured in vain?
Well, I will take a page from Bjorn's book because he said that he has no hard feelings for anyone who cuts him in battle.
Oh no, I
Only Thorfinn
understand
does.
that. But we just lost
So,
an amazing warrior that could have not died because the end result would have been the same. Is what I'm saying.
well, I mean,
Regardless,
you
I'm
know,
reading a lot into this, but just I love this character. Oh man, yeah, you said, like you said, yeah, I'm not mad at Otley for cutting me on the battlefield because that's how you should go. And he asked him, "How's your leg?" Oh, and Askeladd said, "It's still fine. I can still hold a sword." He said, "All right, go do your planning and scheming because that's what you do. Well, not scheme. Scheme is a
your
negative
evil
connotation.
plans.
Go do your evil plans tomorrow." He said, "Tomorrow, then." Dude, there's friendship. Oh man, like these men's like the way they hold each other in such high regard. Like you can tell they've been together for so long, man, bro. This is Bill and Frank. All right, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Mm.
Ah, and then they take us to the small gathering between Askeladd, Canute, and Gunnar was there, bro. This man is Chuck Rhodes, man. This man is Chuck Rhodes plus Bobby Bobby Axelrod. Their names are too similar
Axelrod.
that I can't. Bobby Axelrod and Mike Prince, bro. Like the town gossiping. Oh my goodness. The king probably wanted to take out the younger heir. Some guy said, well, I heard a rumor. Oof. And then you see him finishing the sentence. Like, I did all this commotion. I hired the assassin. When I told you, let's get ahead of this and tell the people the money heist reference that I had, that's what I did. I staged that at the same time, meaning,
Askeladd laid a curse.
like an innocent man. Well, not innocent. Some guy that was part of my plan died. I could have just told Thorfinn, this guy's part of my plan. Don't kill him. but anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, Thorfinn killed the guy who thought he shot Canute.
Yeah. Hmm.
But it is what it is. And it's perfectly, this is what I wanted anyway. Dispute in Denmark's royal family. Now, the prince asked, how will this even help us? And this man said, no, no. Someone asked, how will this help us? And the Canute answers, actually, which show you my boy's actually, like, he's sharp too. He's like, because Askeladd just did that, because there's commotion within the kingdom, because people are under the impression that he just tried killing me, he will not be able to give me something that's not favorable. Because if he's trying to split me and Thorkiel now, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I see. He tried killing him. It didn't work. Now he's putting him by himself so he can finish the job," which is such a
Right.
smart plan. They just cornered the king, bro. Oh
They
my
used
goodness,
his public image against him.
dude. It's like exactly. He won't split you from Torquel because more rumors are gonna get to his army, and he doesn't want that. And my boy finished with the most sexiest quote: brute force isn't the only way to fight. It's just like, this man is strategic. No, Askeladd was top tier, bro. Askeladd was top tier.
He is one of the
Uh,
best characters I've experienced in
that's
anime.
true. That's true. This is true. And Gunner's like, well, this is nice. This is great. I must leave now. Hooray, our plan is working. And you remember when this man said before cutting the bridge, Thorfinn, Bjorn, I have a gift to discern what men will be good, bad, coward, evil. Just I'm taking us back to a few episodes ago. Anyway, the ones that are keeping up, keep up. This is a fast ride. But just and he tells the king, "Do you trust Gunnar?" He's like, "Yeah, Gunnar is of course Ragnar's brother, and yeah, these are men that I trust a lot." He's like, "Well, I don't know. There's something iffy about homeboy, but regardless, I have Thorfinn on him. If he's a spy, we use him to feed the king what we want. He'll be able to let the king know that we don't want a short-term battle." Damn. And of course, we saw Gunnar go to some guy, talk to the guy, and we saw the guy go into the king's house. So shit, Gunnar's a snitch. And Thorfinn said everyone is so after Thorfinn discovered that from running after him, spying, well not spying, observing from up close to see what he was doing. He said everyone is so obsessed with deceiving each other. Is that what a warrior's supposed to do? Bro.
Hmm. Well, and Thorfinn is he knows what a true warrior is. He doesn't
He
want to
knows.
admit it to himself yet, but he knows.
Mm. And of course, tomorrow morning, my boy's like, "Hey, I'm ready for a duel." And Canute is like, "All right, I'm gonna be the ref because I need both of you men. So yeah, I'm not gonna allow someone to like I'm gonna be here to referee this shit." And Bjorn shows up, and then Askeladd say, "I got another appointment, young blood." uh, he walks to Bjorn, and they have this conversation. My boy said, "I look up to you, but you hated me. You hated everyone. I even think you hated yourself. Aren't you lonely?" Oh, because he knows he's dying. Like, might as well just be emotional. All this brute shit. Fuck it. Let me this wall of vulnerability. Let me put it down. I just wanted to be your friend.
Mm,
And the fights start, and he accidentally killed him. He said, "I'm sorry. I missed the vital spot." Damn. No, no, he accidentally didn't kill him. Because
yeah.
the plan was to kill him right away. Yeah, I missed the vital spot. It's like, "I'll put you at ease." And Jordan's like, "Stop. I gotta tell you, you're my only friend." Oh, no.
Mm,
He said, "Jordan, you too. You were my only friend also." Oh my goodness.
my only one.
Oh, I
Damn.
can't. I can't. I can't. He said,
Damn.
"Send me off, friend. Send me off." And
Mm,
you hear the sword sound. That's not a sword sound. It's more like ching. Yeah, I don't know why is it a
close
sword
enough.
sound, but yeah, close enough. And he gets up after doing something so soul crushing. This man's able to just brush that off and get to the next battle. "Sorry to keep you waiting, kid. Come, I'll play with you now." Which is so condescending. He
and for
knows
a
what to
moment,
tell this dude. Yeah.
and for a moment, you see the little Nen effect too. It's hard to spot it, but it happens very quickly. A little
Mm,
bit of Nen comes off.
mm. Those three, right? There was Nen, there was Ren, and there was something else.
Oh, there was a whole bunch. There was so many names like Hatsu, Gyo, a whole bunch of stuff.
Nah.
It's a, it's
Attack
a,
on Titan was Attack on Titan. The fuck, Hunter x Hunter was dope. Yeah, that's a fact.
yeah, it had one of the
Hisoka,
best power
Hisoka.
systems I've ever seen.
Mm,
Hisoka.
what a
Hisoka.
story, man. Damn, they really stretched. It's not a stretch, but they really took you from one story to this anime could have been like three anime. Could have been like
Yeah, yeah,
freaking Gon's
they,
growth. It could have been like four
yeah.
parts. Gon's growth, Gon going to the competition. What's the name of the competition? The Fight for Warriors. The fight. What's the name of it? I don't.
Heaven's Arena. Heaven's
No,
Arena.
not the arena. The fight itself. The competition that all the guys go into with the ticket to get into. What's the name of that competition?
Ye- Yeah, that was well, I mean the place was called Heaven's Arena, but it's just like there's different floors in Heaven's Arena. So like the top floors, that was where the Nen fighters were.
No, we're talking about deeper into that season. I'm talking about the initial, like when they met the guy with the suitcase and they met the other guy. Those are
Oh,
race. Those are not a race. Those are competition. That
that
his
was
dad won that competition, so he went in that competition too. But I
yeah, that
can't
was
remember.
the hunter exam.
Yes, the hunter exam. Yes, there could have been him grow the hunter exam, the chimera ants, him going
Spoilers, by the
after
way.
his
So
dad. I'm breaking this shit down. They could have split this down to like two different animes, but the way they segue into another so smoothly was beautifully done. The writers did such a good job. It's like, all right, that chapter's done. We're taking them here. Stay
yeah,
here. That
there's
chapter's done. We're taking them there.
the whole Greed Island part. There's an
Mm.
anime called Sword Art Online. The whole concept of it is just that. It's like you're in a video game and you can die. Well, in Sword Art Online, it's like they get trapped in the video game and they
Yeah.
can't leave the until somebody beats the game. So like in the meantime, their real bodies are withering away as time
Wow.
passes in the game because nobody can beat it yet.
That sounds like the
So
Matrix,
yeah,
or that
it
sounds
has
like a X
similarities.
Men X Men Days of Future Past. My favorite X Men. But yeah, crazy shit. Um. Yeah. And of course he gets up. So yeah, I will. I'm ready for you now, kid. I'll play with you. And episode
Mm-hmm.
21 ends.
And then episode 22 starts. So Oscalad, he's standing tall. His face, no emotion. Thorfinn notices that Oscalad is a little bit different than usual, just like how he noticed he was different when they were speaking in front of the king.
Yep.
And before their duel begins, we get to hear the conversation between Canute and Thorkel, who are watching on the sidelines. And Canute, he asks Thorkel who he thinks is stronger. And Thorkel, he says Askeladd. And then Canute's like, well, since Thorfinn won against you, doesn't that mean that Askeladd is even better than you?
Right.
And Thorkel, he gets offended. He gets in his face. He gives a wildly intimidating glance, as Thorkel does. And he says, who do you think I am? There's no way I'm the weakest one out of us three, right? There's no fucking way. And just to quickly bring it back to Hunter x Hunter again, because Thorkel, he says that it's not that simple to tell who's stronger. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. This reminds me of a scene in Hunter x Hunter. That was the best explanation of power scaling between two individuals that I've ever heard. Uh, and the scene in Hunter x Hunter, it was basically like there was a piece of paper that had various vertical bars, and these bars were labeled the letter A all the way to the letter D. And the bars were the same size, yet some were taller than others. So, for example, like the bars were laid out next to each other from left to right. Um, and the upper parts, for example, the upper parts of A would be taller than the lower parts of D, yet the upper parts of D would be taller than the upper parts of A, if you can get that kind of mental picture in your head. Basically,
Hmm.
one bar is taller than the other, but they kind of overlap at some
Yeah.
portions of each other. And the idea was that a good condition A can defeat a poor condition D, even though D is technically, like quote unquote, on paper, D is of higher skill than A.
Right.
And it just goes to show that, like, any story that plays with this idea, uh, it's a beautiful way of encapsulating how two people, even though one is supposed to have an advantage, that they can still be defeated by the other person. Because most of the time, you can't really tell who's stronger. because there's so many different factors to a battle. There's so many
Yeah.
different conditions, so many different environments. So this bar, like these bars on paper, it's the best way I've ever seen that be explained. Because this power scaling idea, it happens in so many different animes, so many different movies. I'm sure you could probably think of a couple movies that are like fighting or battle focused, where you can never truly gauge who you think is stronger, but you have like an intuition, like, oh, this person's probably gonna beat this person in this specific scenario under these specific
Yeah.
conditions. So yeah, that was a really fantastic way of displaying this concept. And Thorkel, by what he's saying, is pretty much the same thing as that. Um, but the duel starts. Askeladd manhandles him yet again.
Right.
But this time he comes very close to intentionally killing Thorfinn. I don't think he would have actually killed him, but he definitely wanted to come close. He wanted Thorfinn to feel some of the wind of the sword when he struck it into the earth. But he stops himself, and angered by Bjorn's death, he starts to give Thorfinn a speech that is part condescending and then part instructional.
Mm.
So he says, these duels, they're always going to end the same way. And it's not because of your injuries. No, 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 no. It's because you're an idiot. Now, normally when you fight, you know how to think. But once you lose your temper, it all goes to waste. And one of my favorite lines from Askeladd in the entire show is when he says that losing your temper, shouting loudly, and waving your sword around is how an idiot fights. Unbelievable. Everyone's the same. There's no beauty in it. Bjorn is right. I hate warriors, especially the Norse warriors, the Vikings.
Mm.
And you remember how when his men were uprising and he got so angry that he split a guy in half,
Yeah.
and then he immediately apologized for losing his
Yeah.
temper? It's because of what he's saying here. Like, he hates people that lose their temper. He hates people that don't fight with beauty. And in this case, I'm understanding beauty to mean self control, grace, skill, and tactfulness as you fight.
Yeah. Discipline.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then he goes on to say that the first man he ever killed was a Norse warrior. He was not a beautiful man. He was my father. And
Mm.
then he says, kid, I'm going to tell you something for future reference. I'm going to tell you how to kill someone you hate. What a fucking line, man. What a line. What a line, dude. Like,
Yeah. His transparency is insane.
it's so
I don't know.
good.
I don't know if
It's
if
so
he enjoys
fucking
a
good.
challenge because you're arming this kid with a weapon that he's gonna use against you because you're the only one. Like, you're his target since day one. It's like, you know what, man? Like, it's almost like he's getting bored of these non. Yeah, they're basically futile. He's yet to even shed a sweat in any of these duels. Like, dude, can these duels get serious? Like, I'm watching you become more and more skilled as a fighter. Like, you've gone through crazy lengths. You've done impossible missions for me. But like, bro, like, this is getting stupid. Like, if you want to know how to kill me, listen to this. Like, seriously,
Mm.
it's crazy shit.
Yeah, and like we already know that Askeladd has become this warped father figure for Thorfinn in a way.
Right.
And all the things that a regular mentor would do, he does, but he does it in a way that's cruel, heartless,
Yeah.
selfish, and
Yeah.
manipulative. And this dynamic of like mentor, mentee, it's subtle, but him saying, I'm going to teach you how to kill someone you hate, like, it's a way for the story to explicitly put a spotlight on this dynamic while at the same time using it as a very clever segue into Askeladd's backstory. And it's just
Yep.
brilliant. Like,
It is
layered
brilliant.
storytelling, it's brilliant, hands down. And yeah, then we start to learn about Oscalot's past. His mother was a slave. She was very sick, so she couldn't work. So he was always at the blacksmith and the stables. He was the provider for the two of them. And he was always covered in ash, coal, or manure, and was always black or white. So that's how he got the name Oscalod, which again means
Right.
covered in ash. And his father was from a very powerful family. He loved killing people, he loved women, and he had many children with different women, but would only name the kids he had with his legitimate wife. So Oscalod was one of the many unknown kids who didn't have
That's
a
so
name.
fucked up. Yeah.
It's yeah, that's very fucked up because the man, that's insane that you could just pump and dump and then oh man, oh
Right.
god,
You just pump and dump. Wait, is
no
that you?
regard
Is that
whatsoever.
a trademark of like Christian, or did you see that somewhere else? Because I like that. You can just pump and dump.
No, I heard that from somewhere else.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's fucked up, man. It is fucked up.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Oscalad life was hard for him. His mother, she often told him the story of Artorias, which we got a glimpse of before. And, you know, again, like the legend of the hero who would return from heaven to free people
Mm.
of illnesses and enslavement. The way that heaven was described to him is again the same way that Vinland has been described
Yes.
to us over and over, the recurring theme there.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and he points out the irony and says that, well, if he's in such a beautiful paradise, why would he ever want to come back to where we are?
Exactly.
He would just stay there. And then when he was 11, in his words, his mother's heart snapped and she became kind of loony. So she started his father just happened to be passing by their village and she started groveling at his feet, believing that he was Artorias and that he finally came back from paradise. And then his father just looked at her, drew his sword. He was about to kill her. And then Oscalad, he told himself, if Artorias wasn't going to come and save my mom right here, then he's never going to
Yep.
come.
That's true.
And yeah, and then he picked up the sword and then he ran over and then he started dueling his father and he was shocked that because he's never picked up a sword before. This is the first time he picked it up and it just felt so natural to him that he was able to hold his own against this battle hardened legend, so to speak. Um, so yeah, and then we cut back to the present, and then Askeladd says, "So do you understand, kids?" Because he's speaking to both Thorfinn and
Yeah.
Canute here, which is that's
Because
important.
if you think about it, right? Canute want to kill his dad. Thorfinn want to kill the guy who killed his dad.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And then Askeladd says, "Someone must do it. Not a person, not a hero, not an ideal, a god or a god. No. He says, someone must do it. A person, not a hero, not a god.
Yep.
And and then yeah, we're seeing more of his backstory. His father was impressed by his skills. He asked Oscalad if he was his child. Oscalad said yes. So then he let him live with him, like his father let him live with him since he had potential. And then he spent time earning his father's favor. He trained, he got along with his half brothers, he paid fake respects to his father, all while biding his time, plotting his revenge. And for 2 years, he worked on it. He
Two
worked on this
years,
revenge
bro.
scheme. 2 years. 2 years. And, and then he killed his father in his sleep because Askeladd wanted two things from these 2 years. Number one, he wanted to catch him when he wanted to catch his father when his guard was
Mm-hmm.
down, and then number two, he wanted to inherit his property. So that's why it took 2 years. That latter part, uh, and then he used his brother's sword to
That's
pin the
fucked up.
blame on him
That's fucked
And
up.
they hung him. Yeah.
Yeah, the dude's been bad. Like, see, I didn't understand that as a child. That I was like, okay. I mean, plotting to kill your dad, that I understand. He cast your mom aside. Your mom's sick. It's your responsibility. He doesn't. He treats her like shit. Yes, yes. I can see you cultivating that hate for so long. Master plan, careful and patient plan. Like this dude's been a planner since since a youth, since a
Yeah.
teenager. It's
Yeah.
insane. But bro, come on, letting your one of your brothers. At the same time, you don't know. Like the 2 years to gain that credibility and become one of our own might have been teased. No, he wasn't. See, he said even from the beginning when he was learning like archery, like they took me in. They never gave me any problems. That was fucked up. that's that's fucked up, bro. But anyway, it is what it is, right? It's Askeladd. We we hate him and we love him.
Hmm.
Oh.
Well, and then he concludes his story by saying, Thorfinn, you still can't kill me even though it's been 10 years. I don't know what to tell you. That just means you're an idiot. So, and then mockingly, Askeladd, he says that all I have to do is put on a show with you with these duels and you'll do what I want. You're a
Oh my
really useful
goodness,
kid, and I must thank Thor's too.
bro,
That hurt Thorfinn deep.
bro.
That hit him really deep.
I would kill him in his sleep, Christian. I would just kill him in his sleep. Just
Mm,
see, that's their difference. That's their difference right here. Like he trained to gain his father's favor and kill him while he's sleeping because he was driven and his plan was thought out. Thorfinn is all about like honor. Thorfinn's not
mm,
doing some hit in the back or while you sleep kind of shit. It to show you a very it shows you the difference between the two of them actually. Like
mm,
Askeladd have done some crazy shit. Askeladd even killed Thor's cowardly. A man with such what do we say he has character? What do we say Askeladd of character? Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. No, he's a good warrior. He can work any crowd. He knows exactly what to say. He's an extreme thinker. He's very good strategist. But yeah, no, as when it comes to shit like character and honor, yeah, no, he's not like that. And that's where Thorfinn has him beat, which is not at Thorfinn's advantage because this shit would not have lasted 10 years if you kill him the first night.
Well, I do think there are moments where Askeladd does display like even just the previous scene, the previous episode, I think, or the previous episode where the brothers came up to him. Like that's a
Mm.
moment where he was the bigger person, and and also with Thor's as well. I mean, yeah, there was he definitely did Thor's dirty, but he didn't have to stay true to his word and let them live. And there are other moments dotted throughout the series, like like
I I think there's a I think there's a difference between like character and like pride or like if you talk shit about his country about his mom he'll get like he'll like no that's fucked up but I don't know in my eyes I don't think he has that much character but there the wait what were some other scenes you were gonna say like where else has he displayed that to
well, it
you
also depends. Like, what is your definition of character?
yeah not backhanded and grimy type shit like being upfront about what you're doing not being deceitful like not telling a guy I'm gonna fight you if you win I'll let you go the guy win you kill him anyway just, just like uh yeah also at the same time too like constantly getting to this kid's like weakness every time you fight him like he can easily choose to have a fair fight with Orphan if he doesn't like evoke the his temper, which of course it's a weapon like you to use. You use that's the thing. You even say warriors you don't need to fight with brute force. Like you can fight with your head, which I understand you constantly get in his head. But even that too, bro, you can just shut up and fight him. just it might turn out to be different, but you know what to get him riled up. Like you know the exact things to say to throw him completely off his game, which you continuously do. I love his character. I love Askeladd's character. He's great, very dynamic. I love everything about him, how he thinks. But I'm just saying, in that aspect, in my eyes, that's an F in my book, in the character aspect. But still, I love the guy.
Like you mean F in like a good way.
Oh no, and that subject when it comes to having character as a warrior, like a person, like how Thorfinn is like, if I'm gonna beat you, it's gonna be with honor. He even told that when he was back when they were back on their homeland. That kid, he's like, hey, aren't you worried that you're bringing this guy along that clearly wants to kill you? He's like, no, this guy would never stab me in the back. This kid has honor. This kid is only willing to fight me fairly in a duel. Yeah. But at the same time, look how the
Certainly.
dude was raised, bro. Dude was raised in the street. Dude had to fight for himself. Dude's leading a bunch of people. Like, this dude is among a bunch of men that he hates because they're from his father's land, who he hated. Just as I don't blame him for how he is, but at the same time, I just wish he had more character. But yeah.
So it's probably you probably think that you wish he has more honor then, right? Not
Oh no,
necessarily
he has
character.
honor. Yeah, honor. Correct, correct. Yeah. Honor. Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Doing
Yeah.
thing the right way, pretty much. But that's
He's
the thing. There's no playbook for that. You don't fight fair for these things.
right. Yeah. He's very sly. Very
Yeah,
sly.
and Thorfinn is very naive to constantly not like play to that extent. But just to show you the kind of kid Thorfinn is. But like, bro, you're among murderers and grimy folks and guys who stab you in the back and well not each other like Ragnar like hey let's come out there to fight the British you're dead. But
Yeah.
still bro, I get it. Mm,
And he still has the mental equivalent of like a little kid too. Like his knowledge was stunted in many different aspects once he started
mm-hmm.
following Ocelot. So like
Yeah,
that emotional maturity,
yeah,
it's especially when you consider the people that he's surrounded with, like all hours of the day. Like they say that
mm-hmm.
the people who you surround yourself with are in large part like they make up a big part of your personality.
Correct.
So these are the people he's learning from. Like it's yeah, he never had time to really learn what it means to even not be naive like how he's being. I don't know.
Right.
It's
And the one person who's equipped to teach him, he hates that person although he's
right.
being taught, but it's not voluntarily. It's because I hate the man. It's,
Yeah. Uh,
it's a beautiful like internal conflict.
hmm hmm Yeah, so Askeladd's his remarks they're really hard for Thorfinn to swallow. So for the first time, reality is just dawning on him. That like what I think he questions for a moment, like what am I doing? Like this, he's right. I hate what he's saying, but deep down he knows it's to an extent he's right. Um, but yeah, and then Canute he asks Oscalad as he's walking away, like why don't you try to become king instead of helping me? And Oscalad says that he can tell by Canute's face, like you're more suited to being a ruler than I am. I'm just a
Yeah.
Viking. And then we see Thorfinn. He's staring into the sky. He's screaming,
Yeah.
and then the episode ends.
All
Lorenz.
right. Episode 23, miscalculation. Oh my
Mm,
Christian, it's almost 2 hours.
yeah, maybe we should try to. Maybe we should try to like speed up a little.
I'm not gonna curtail this. Nah, I'm gonna be very thorough. No, I'm kidding. Great. Day of the Imperial Council. A lot of food.
Mm,
Shit. Food for the elders. Great. It is what it is. Thorfinn, of course. Same thing when he freaking Thorkel when he had all the broken ribs and dismembered shoulder and had to swim and he had to walk the same way. This man is beaten, broken arm already, with more broken because Askeladd didn't fuck him up the night before. This man had to walk to get to the Imperial Council place. Of course, he passes out. Dude's just that's it. He can't go no more. The whispering is working. The people inside of the council. Oh my goodness, he did try to get him killed. What do you think's happening here? Torkel even joined him too. We shouldn't worry about Thorkel. He doesn't know how to govern, how to lead. He's just a brute that just fights with no alliances. What about this Askeladd guy? Who is this guy? We never heard of him. That is what it is. Back to Thorfinn. Thorfinn gets up. He's hallucinating. this man is so hungry for vengeance. Anyone he sees, like he thinks he sees Askeladd. The guy's like, "Oh, you're such a stupid kid." The guy keep walking, dude. Even though he doesn't have any strength left, this dude got up and ran, bro. Like Thorfinn's dedication to kill this man, like countless
And
time.
years.
Yeah, like all the time he's gotten back, right? Like when he swum away, like from Thorkill from the first fight in the bridge, was to get back to Askeladd. Like when he got the leader's head that he was supposed to get, and he just dove into the freaking water to get it, was to get back. Like this dude is weak, like is tired, he's injured, he passed out. This dude just got back up and just chased this man. Just turns out it wasn't him. Great. Like I love the fight because he's down. Like the dude is tired, but yet he still beat these guys, but in such a sloppy. Well, it wasn't sloppy, a quick way, but like using limbs that are working. Like he uses his head, he uses his left arm because the right one I think is the one that's broken. He uses his feet, like he uses his back to beat all three of these guys. I was like, that's pretty quick.
Mm,
And with every blow, like you can tell like he's in pain. He's like, oh, oh. It's
mm.
like damn, it's like crazy shit. Yeah, and of
Yeah.
course he gets thrown in jail. Like, what are you doing? Because it's the same guard that arrived at the scene after he killed the guy who tried to assassinate Canute. So I was like, oh, this kid is trouble. Let's throw him in jail. They're like, wait, I think that's Canute's guard. Like, well, if it was his guard, don't you think he would be with him at the council? Which is a very valid point. So they get back to the council. King Sweeney's thanking the elders, making the trip from Denmark to England. Like, thank you guys for sticking with me for this whole time. Now that England's under my control, it's great. He calls Canute and say, I'll give you control over Mercia. The guys are like, what? That's the most prosperous land in England. Yo, maybe he didn't try to assassinate him. And another guy's like, nah, maybe he did. And that's exactly what he would have to say if he did.
Big brain. Big
Yeah.
brain.
Oh, he knows he got played. Wait, I didn't touch up on that. Fuck. The last episode, after the rumor's been spread, the king was up, not a balcony, up in a mountain. Like, oh fuck, Askeladd really they got to us by spreading the rumor. Anyway, I completely forgot to touch up on that scene. But yeah, he's aware that he's been played, and that's the only way for him to circle back. And to make it even better, he's like, Thorkel, support my son. Go with him and make sure he stays alive. It's like, yo, they really cornered this man, and he had no other cards. That's so crazy, dude. You're a king, yet you still need to be politically correct. Yet you still need to serve and maintain an image to your people. As in, you don't have absolute power. Like your constituents still need to be happy, still need to be kept in a like what is a docile state, not sensing any commotion, even if you know there is. But fuck, like they got me. I need to make sure that these motherfuckers happy and stay together because that's the only way for me to not let this rumor keep spreading. Like that's so funny. Like as a king, you're powerless to your people's perception of you. You need to keep that positive.
Yeah, I mean, the only way a king really has power is if the people
That follow
recognize
him.
him as king.
Yep, correct.
So,
That is true. And then the king said, great, I give all my shit. No, I give him my shit. Like, great, I give you Mercia, that's good. We're going to continue to expand, rule, and take over Ireland. Askeladd's like, okay, this man is doing exactly what I wanted this man to do. And the king said, "We'll attack Wales." It's like, ooh, his face, like, what the fuck? He said, "Yeah, I sent messengers there, to try to form an alliance, but the Welsh did denied twice. They have no respect for the king of Denmark. So for that, they might start some rebellions, and we can't take that. So we need to shut that shit down. We will attack in the spring." As he's saying that, Floki's looking around. Floki's like, interesting. Huh, something has changed. As soon as this motherfucker mentioned Wells, Askeladd's face just went blank. Great. They switched to the jail. Like someone come to visit Thorfinn, it's Leaf. And Leaf puts two and two together because he told him, "I'm here for revenge." He's like, "Damn, son, as long as Askeladd's alive, his heart will not be at peace." So he started mentioning his family to bring back some good memories. If you do remember Thor's, Elga's cooking, like Yilva, they're all there for you. Like they're all waiting for you. And then that didn't work. So then he brought up to the time that his ship got wrecked. He's like, that story I told you a while back in Iceland, right? How we've got hit with this iceberg. I lost all my friend. Well, there was only one reason I kept going. I kept going because I am a warrior, and a sailor is always fighting a battle against the sea, just like a warrior with their own honor at stake. So I made your father a promise that I would get you back. So for that reason, I'm going to stick to that and do whatever I can and get you back. Because no matter what happens, I'm going to take your ass back to Iceland. I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." I like that he tied that back in. Because
Hmm.
that's the only way to um that's the only way to describe himself like as a warrior, because he's a sailor. That's true, and the sea can be brutal. That is very true. It's not a physical fight, but it takes a lot of strength, dude. Like when a ship is twisting another direction, you're in the middle of a tempest, like a storm. Is tempest a word? Is that a word?
Tempest. That
Is
is
that
a
a
word,
word?
but I don't know if it's in the context you're
Is that
using
the?
it in.
Hmm. No, because French is like tempête. I'm actually curious. I don't know if that's. Pause this just so I can freaking define this for myself. A violent windless storm. Yeah, tempest. No, that's perfect.
Mm.
I
Oh.
learned English from a dictionary, so it is where it is. Yeah, literally. Hmm, that's pretty cool. A violent disturbance. Yeah,
Huh.
crazy
Cool.
shit, Christian. Crazy shit. Yeah, look at that. You learned something new today, Christian. I'm thrilled for you. But yeah,
Look
he's
at
like, yeah,
that.
because the sea, the sea does its own kind of shit. So yeah, that's dope. And I love that he was able to relate that to tie back into I too am a warrior. So I know you're going through your shit, but like I too made commitment. I too have honor, and I too need to hold up my end of that bargain that I made to myself and to your dad. So your ass is coming back. So it's great. Take us back to the council. King's giving out rewards. You get silver. You get this. You get that. Floki comes behind him and say, yo, King, swing. Yo, when you were talking about Wells, bro, Askeladd, I don't know, man. I think somewhere in that country might lie, like, his weakness. His weakness might be Wells, because as soon as you mentioned to attack them, homeboy changed. And then they show you Askeladd. I love that they show you his brain, because he's thinking. Askeladd's like,
This
what is
is
going on?
my this is my favorite moment in the whole show. Like
Mm,
when it well, let me one of my favorite moments in the whole show. When it's
mm-hmm.
like, they slowly zoom in on an x-ray of his brain. You see the
Yeah.
electricity spark as it's like the
Yeah.
neurons are rapidly firing, and there's a stormy sea in the background, the music. It's a
Yeah.
glorious moment. It's
Oh,
really
and it's so
it's
quick. The way you know
yeah.
I can't equate to that, but I do this a lot in this podcast. I do this a lot. I do this a lot to a bunch of things I'm explaining. I'm like, oh, so this happened because of that. I'm like, well, it's subjective. Some people might think of that. Well, some people might also say that. Like, you'll notice, Christian, I do that a lot. I don't know, but if you haven't noticed, then you're not a listening friend or attentive friend. But it is what it is. He's like, oh, Was it coincidence? Was it not a coincidence? Fuck, who the fuck cares if it's not a coincidence? What matters is Wales will be fucking at war in the spring, whether this shit's a coincidence or not. Think. What do I do? What do I do? Lead a revolt. We only have 500 men, so I don't think that's enough. Shit, and they have a lot of guys too. Start a rebellion. If I start a rebellion, would already be in battle for me to start that. So Wales will be the battlefield anyway. And another terrible outcome if we start a rebellion, one of the king's assassins might try to freaking go after Canute again. Fuck, what to do? What to do? What to do? I can't. He's like, what can I do? And then they freaking go back to Thorfinn. But yeah, before I go that, since you said that was your favorite thing, what do you want to say about that too? Because that scene was pretty dope.
No, yeah, no, I already. It was just the imagery. I love it.
Yeah.
Very
Mm-hmm.
fitting. Very fitting.
No, the graphic artist people thing for people did a very good job.
Yeah, yeah, the animators.
uh,
I think it's they definitely have the biggest bulk of work. I think in an
that
anime.
is true. Because
Well,
that's, yeah,
like as
you have
far
to
as like the
draw all that and do
visuals.
all that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is true. So then take us back to the jail. Thorfinn's like, don't talk to me about home. Leaf said, okay, you don't want to talk about home. Let's talk about something else. Why don't we talk about
Mm,
Finland? After I get you home, we're going to go to Finland. You said you've seen Thor's there in your dreams. Thor's might be there too. You know, what if he went to a land to escape the wars? He must have tried to go to Finland if he's still alive. I understand the tactic, but it's kind of dangerous because that's a touchy subject. Like I know your heart is at a in a good place. You're trying to bring this kid back. I understand, but it's like, come on, man. That's not a low blow. I understand that it worked. You got the kid on your boat anyway, but still, he's like, yeah, let's build a place like Vinland, away from wars, away from all that, with just peace with your family. Like, come on, Thorfinn, let's do that. And it's funny as he was speaking, they show you this brightness, which is like hope, like a good omen, sign of good things to come, like positivity. Like I like they play with the lighting as he was describing positive things. I love that. Like the correlation was very nice. I was like, that's so dope from the people again that draw this. Like it's yeah, I don't know if they get credited for that. I hope they do, but it's pretty cool, man. So the imagery's done nicely.
yeah.
Um so of course it takes us back to the council meeting. Uh the king is still giving out prizes, and Thorkel demonstrate that he is equally curious and sharp as he's eating. Like, hey, Askeladd, when you escaped from me, you went to Wales, right? Yeah, the Welsh. They're the one that you were able to seek refuge and get away from my grip. I wonder why Welsh would help a Dane anyway. And this man said, because my mother's grave is there. That's my home. Like the Welsh may be poor people, that is true, but they are full of pride.
Mm,
They are full of pride. And he said, I hope also, please, like, don't tell anyone this. And Thorkel's like, well, of course, I will not tell anyone this. Askeladd gets summoned. The king calls him up for his reward. And that's the end of
right.
episode 23.
Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna try to go a little bit quicker because I know this is a big episode, but I
Dude,
think we're
no,
almost
no,
at
bro.
two
Take
hours.
take your time. Who cares? Dude, we have hate watchers only, bro. Hate viewers. We don't even have fans left. Just make it painful for
Mm.
them. Just-
Okay. All right. So episode 24. End of the prologue. This is
Literally.
the end of season one, but the promise of something so much longer. So end
Big
of the
facts.
prologue. So Askeladd, yep, to continue what you were saying, he's kneeling in front of the king. He's being offered treasure as a reward. The king, um, he's doing a psychological play. He emphasizes the subjugation of Wales because he noticed that Oscelot reacted strongly to the plan. And then Oscelot notices that he noticed his reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So he turns the dial on his wits to their max. He tries to use his words to convince the king not to target Wales. His main argument is that after 10 years of fighting, we should be shifting into recovery mode instead of attack mode. And also that the land in Wales is perilous and infertile, so attacking them isn't worth the cost.
Yep.
Um, and that if it's not just that, and he's more worried about the people they're showing disrespect, to let him be a messenger to persuade those people. And of
And do you see
course,
how he?
Oscalad. mm,
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, do you see how he won the crowd over? People are like, he's right. Yeah, yeah, we just got back from a war with England for 10 years. Like,
right,
shit, this man's right.
some guy, yeah, some guy was like, I'm glad someone said it. He's
Yeah.
right. Um, but of course, they're doing all this in public, like you just mentioned. So the king already knows because of Gunner, um, that Oscalot is scheming and that everything he's saying there's some double meaning to it.
Mm-hmm.
So since they're in public, the king praises his advice for the room to hear. But then he walks up to him and then he whispers in the ear, in Oscalot's ear, and he's like, "Whales or canoe? Choose one of them."
Bro.
Because I've looked into who you are, and I can guess why you're so caught up on whales. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your mother was a slave, and the only merchandise that Wales produces with any value is
What?
slaves. And then for the second time, we see the most intense face Oscalad could possibly have. That was a detailed face, a lot of wrinkles, a lot of anger, a lot of expression. And just like his first interaction with the king, this sets off. Yeah, his face was just like his first interaction with the king. And this little remark sets off a catalyst for a massive turn of events that is about to happen. So, meanwhile, though, we cut back to Thorfinn, and he was about to get on the boat and leave with Leaf, but something tells him to second guess what he's doing, and then he leaves the boat, and then he heads towards the direction of Ascalad. And then we go back to Ascalad. His pride was just assaulted. And then he starts behaving disrespectfully for the entire room to hear this time. He's no longer
Mm-hmm.
having double intentions. And then Ascalad calls the king a deaf, ugly old man who isn't fit to wear the crown and that he doesn't have the face of a king. So the tension starts to rise. He threatens the guards around him that he'll kill the king if anyone comes closer. And then he tells the king that as punishment for mocking his people, he deserves to die. And then he reveals a name that his mother gave him, and he calls this his real name, not Oscalad. And this name is Lucius Artorius Castus.
Yep.
So, of course, it's borrows or it has likeness to the name of that legendary hero in the story his mother always told him. And he claims to be the legitimate king who deserves to rule over the land of Britannia. And once he says this, Floki, being Floki, he commands the guards to attack after what
Right.
Oscalad just said, which is all right, Floki. And then, with no hesitation, Oscalad just cuts the king's head off. And then we sit in silence, the audience in the show, and then also whoever's watching the show. It's just like this jaw dropping moment. Cuts the dude's head off. Then we sit in silence as Oscalad he swipes the blood off his sword. He says he feels better, and then it cuts to a title card. I love when that happens. It's like I don't know why I get such a kick out of that. The Last of Us, the video game, does that a whole lot. Like after really intense moments, they just
Mm.
cut to black, and that like that it's such a sharp contrast, shocking a little bit. I don't know. I love that that technique. And yeah, it's one of the most intense moments in the show because there's so much tension behind every interaction with the king. It's like you're always walking on nails whenever you're around the guy. So to do
Yeah.
something so drastic like cutting his head off in front of a crowd where the leaders are all gathered, no less, that's a very, very,
Right?
very crazy scene. Like I can't emphasize that enough. It's shocking to anyone who watches that scene and who's been following the story. So, um, but yeah, so Floki he tries to command the guards to attack Oscalad, but Canute interrupts him, and then he commands them instead. So he's like asserting his dominance over Floki in that moment, which is really good for Canute that he recognized that this was a crucial moment for him to take control because it's setting precedence very early on. And through the window, Thorfinn he caught up to where Oscalad is. He sees that Oscalad is being attacked. He panics and he rushes in. And then meanwhile, Oscalad is killing everybody who comes after him. There's a crowd of people that are trying to leave the venue, and Thorfinn is trying to push through them to get into the hall where Oscalad is. Canute and Thorkel are watching on the sidelines, and Canute acknowledges to Thorkel that Oscalad hasn't gone mad and that he sacrificed himself, or he's
Himself.
sacrificing himself, yeah, to save both Canute and Wales at the same time.
Oof.
Uh, and Floki, being Floki, he joins the attack, clashes with Oscalad, and then he calls him the son of a slave, which you never do to Oscalad.
Hmm.
And he let his rage overtake his muscles. He overwhelms Floki. And as he's overwhelming him, he hears Thorfinn shouting his name. He gives him a look that I personally believe is one of concern. And he tells Thorfinn to stay back. And while doing so, Canute stabs him in the heart. He tells Canute, "You did well." And then he falls on his back. But before he hits the ground, Thorfinn he swoops in and catches him right before he hits the ground.
Yeah.
And Canute he stumbles dizzy from his first kill, and then Thorkel he catches him, he props him up, tells him to stand up straight because this moment on stage was created for him. And then we have one of the saddest moments in season 1. I still tear up every time I see it. It's too powerful to it's too powerful to not feel anything at all. Thorfinn he's yelling at Oscalad. He's cursing at him for letting Canute stab him in a vital spot. He's frantic. He's worried. And then Oscalad tells him, just let me rest. And then Thorfinn, he tells him, he ignores that and he tells him to get up so that they can run away. Oscalad laughs. He calls him a fool. And he says, just hurry up and do it. I'm sorry to make you wait all this time. I'll give it to you. I'll give you my life. Kill me, because we're enemies
Damn.
after all. And then Thorfinn, he grabs
That's
him
not
by the
enough.
collar. It's
Yeah.
not
That's not
enough.
that's not how it should be. I'm honored, bro. Duel. Like,
Yeah, he grabs him
oh.
by the collar, he drags him up to his face, he's screaming at him, saying it wasn't supposed to be like this. Our duel, it wasn't supposed to be like this. Don't you dare die on me. I'm the one who's supposed to defeat you. Why are you dying right now? And then through blurry eyes, Oscalad says, "Ah, this is why I hate kids." And then he tells Thorfinn, "How do you plan to live your life
Bro.
in the future after I die? How do you plan to live your life, Thorfinn?
Oh.
You haven't thought about it, right?" And and then he says, "Just move forward already. Go far ahead, beyond the world that Thor's went to, because that's your real fight. Become a true warrior son of Thor's, and then
Oh.
he dies. Best character in the show. Round of applause, Peter. Let's
Oh,
give a round of
okay, great.
applause.
Oh my goodness, he deserves this. I'm
What a
crying.
scene!
I'm crying.
What a scene! Truly, truly, I'll say it again. One of the best characters that I have ever seen in anime.
Yeah, it's
One of the
true.
best resolutions to a revenge story I've ever seen as well.
I mean,
It's
how,
phenomenal.
Christian? He didn't get his. You
That's
robbed
why
this
it's
kid of his
beautiful.
life.
That's why it's beautiful. Because revenge, it's like a tale as old as time. It's like people who seek revenge, especially revenge that's as intense as this,
Hmm.
most of the time they never feel satisfied once they get the revenge. So it's like either choice is going to leave you dissatisfied. So I think it's a very beautiful note to end it on. Um, Thorfinn didn't get his revenge, and now he's because now he's forced to reflect on
Correct.
the life that he's been living,
Hmm.
and he doesn't he's like he doesn't feel that he's not going to feel that hollowness that getting revenge I would imagine would give you. But overall it's like the idea of getting revenge on someone, it's a very deep like it's a deep topic to dive into. And I think the answer, because there's many different answers you can have to revenge, but this answer that the show is presenting you right here, uh, especially with the context that we have of the show, because like if we remember like what Bjorn said, how he was like, I don't hold a grudge against anybody who slashes me on the battlefield. Only
Right.
Thorfinn does that. It's like, yeah, it's I think it was very beautiful. It's a very beautiful end that they could that they went with. Um,
That is true. No, that's true. Yeah, it's and of course they showed us some people that I don't know. Some guy on a ship, two people climbing a mountain, some
oh,
girl that looked
but
like it might be Ilga. Like I don't
but
know.
before that, Canute he um like because after Osclad dies, Canute tries
Mm-hmm.
to console him, and Thorfinn he swipes a blade at him.
Physical pain.
Canute, yeah, 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 that's important. Canute demands the soldiers not to attack Thorfinn, and he says that being stabbed is a small price to
Small
pay for
price
what
to
he just did.
pay. Yeah.
Again, Floki tries to assume command, but Canute doesn't let him. He takes control right back,
Yeah.
picks up the crown, he runs on stage, and he declares himself the new commander now that the former king has passed, and then he
Yep.
dismisses everyone. And then we get to the final and one of the most beautiful scenes in the whole show. So Thorfinn is being grabbed. He's being taken away by the guards trying to escort him out.
Yeah.
He reaches out his arm to Askeladd's dead body with his father's blade still in his hands. They yank him away and then he drops it. And then when he drops it, we zoom into the blade, and as it's falling, all the episodes flash in its reflection, starting from when he was a kid to the current time. And all the weight that that blade carried, 10 years of suffering, 10 years of pain, 10 years of anger. He was forced in that moment to let it all go. No words, just imagery. And the sad music plays, the blade bounces on the floor, it sends this visual shockwave that whites out the screen, and then we fly across the country. We see some random girl climbing a mountain. And we fly somewhere else. We see some random person drawing in the sand. And then we fly across the sea to see a man walk out of a ship in a raging storm. And that's the end of season one.
Oh,
And we're finished. season one.
We finished season one. So
Hmm.
what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we doing 2 episodes or and 2 hour discussions of 2 episodes? I don't listen. We'll discuss that off this freaking. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
surprise you two. Which one of me is you two? So you won. Just, uh, crazy
Uh,
shit. But yeah, I one thing I want to mention real quick, right? Thorkel's playing an important role in all this because Thorkel sat down during the fight. He was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna sit back down." And he tells Canute something important. He said, "Well, a dog should be put down by its master." Like,
yeah.
and the same Thorkel is like, "Wait, don't show emotion. This is in a very important moment that's been set for you to be there. So you need to handle this strategically. You need to own up to it right now because anything you do can have a big effect on how you ascend to this throne and your perception, your image." So yeah, Homeboy is also slowly becoming the right. Well, he's the only right hand man left, just but
Right.
still, like he's showing you that yeah, it's not just a big guy. This dude might be pulling springs.
Hmm. Yeah.
I just thought of like Tyrant, this show that used to be on FX. This guy goes back to his brother. It's in the Middle East, but throughout the whole show, as you watch more and more, you notice that it's his wife has been the one like behind the scene. Like, bro, like the effect she has on him, just insane. Oh, there's another scene.
Hmm.
There's another scene. All right, I got it. We gotta end
Yeah.
it. Oh, we gotta end
Yeah.
it. No, no, this is fitting. This is fitting. You don't watch Game of
Hmm.
Thrones, but House of Dragon is a prequel to Game of Thrones. There's a queen. She's literally a queen, Christian, and some guy is like he's crippled, but the influence that he has on her, he has a foot fetish. And there's a scene, and she's like, "Well, I'm tired. I want to go to sleep now." The queen and the guy sit down on the couch, and he's like, "No, you're not going to sleep yet." So the queen sit down, take her feet away from her shoes, lay it on the table, and look away from disgust, like as the guys start like masturbating to her feet. But that scene shows you who's actually in control. Like you're a queen, but nah, like my foot fetish need to be fulfilled. Like that power dynamic was insane in that scene, House of Dragons. But
Hmm.
crazy stuff. But yeah, yeah, I love the fact that Thorkel too can, like, he's not doing anything manipulative or anything like that, but just show you he too can steer you and have good insights and can be a good influence and can even bend you to his will if he does that good enough. You won't even know that you're being cordyceps. Tragic.
Cortisol.
Bend you to his
Uh,
will. All right, great. Check out The Last of Us. We did all 9 episodes, but anyway. But yeah, dude, crazy shit.
all right. So, any final words? Or you think we're just good to move on to season two?
Yeah, we're moving on to season two. Season two, here we come. Stay tuned for next
All right.
episode. Coming in 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's a joke. All right.
We will see
All right, dude.
you in season two.
We will.
Bye.
Bye.